Right, yeah, guys and girls, welcome back to another Eastenders episode sort of review. A little talk on what's been going on. This one's supposed to be for the 1st of January, so this was the New Year's Day sort of special, which was on for an hour, which was Monday, Monday the 1st of January 2018. It was the first hour-long episode of 2018. And in this episode, we had at the start of the episode, we had Aidan, we had I think Keanu there, we had Phil Mitchell, and they were all basically in the Queen Victoria, I believe. Oh no, actually they were in, by the looks of it, Vincent's little bar. So I think was it the, not the club or anything, but it's just the bar and all that he owns. And we had also Danny Dyer's character Mick in there as well, and the rest of the crew. Didn't see Billy there by the looks of it. But they were getting ready. Aidan was actually going through the plan with them of what they're going to do for the heist, and saying nothing's going to go, there's not going to be a hiccup at all, it's all going to be fine, and that he can't tell them anymore, and that they should be able to know how to tie knots so they can tie up people. But I think it's a sort of, I think Aidan's little plan towards this was a sort of a vendetta against Vincent himself, because apparently he put his brother away in prison. That's the story. So his brother, Aidan's brother, went to prison or something, and Vincent was a sort of like I would say an informant, wasn't it? Something like that.
I thought he was a police officer.
Well, sort of police officer. I think it was like an informant, telling people or something like where the actual bad guys is. I think he was more like working with the police. So basically, sort of a squealer, and yeah, basically he had to give him all his money through the heist if he wanted to survive and all of that. And this is where, like, in a way, through the entire heist of it, they were using. Well, he said, Aidan said to all the guns that they weren't actually using real guns. At all. They were using sort of fake wooden guns, but wrapped in like little plastic black bags to make it look like the real guns, but they were made out of wood. That's what he was saying. But hang on. So he was telling them to enjoy their day, to stay. Yeah, he told them to stay free and committed to the job and stuff. And he said they would know when the actual job would be at hand, if when the time was right. So they had to set it up and all that really good. And basically he's had it in for Vincent due to this new storyline of it. So it's more like getting more sort of a vendetta against him. Now, Keanu's sister knew all about it, and she knows that something's not right, and that she's worried. She's really worried about him in this heist, and she doesn't want him to work with Aidan or the rest of the crew on this. So she's very worried. Now, with Max Brennan, on the other hand, though, he was actually caught sleeping. Well, not caught, but he was actually sleeping, I think, in his car. So, because he's been kicked out and because of his little revenge thing, the whole street's against him at the moment. And he's starting to put everything back the way it was. He's trying to give people all their, like, buildings back, their houses, their cafes, their restaurants and all that, and he's trying to make amends with them, and they're wondering why he's doing it for. And then we got like Vincent and Danny Dyer's character Mick, literally wanting to pack with each other, because they they want to basically help each other, because he thinks there's something dodgy, something wrong with Aidan, that they think he's up to something. So they want to cover each other's backs just in case anything goes wrong in this episode. And obviously they can trust each other, but can they trust Aidan? And they're worried that something tits up is going to happen, and they didn't want that to go wrong. So Mick comes in, starts talking to Linda, says everything's going to be alright and all that. She doesn't even still know what's going on yet. But his mum's got a little bit of a hint. She knows full on that Aidan and him are up to something. She's not quite sure what it is, but she knows it's something dodgy, and she don't really want him to do anything. Now Mick ends up getting his mobile phone because he's wondering if anyone's been looking for his contacts, due to Aidan being on one of his contacts on his phone. So it's more like he's being suspicious about it, and I think his mum's been looking through it as well. So I think Shirley Carter has been looking through there. Now Aidan wanted one of the tailor's sons to actually set off some fireworks just to make a distraction for when they do the heist. Basically, his whole intentions weren't just the actual vendetta. He said that would have been just a bonus sort of episode, well, a bonus payback. But his sort of like game at the moment is to do the heist and make much money out of it as possible. And if they can pull off a lot of the heist, then they can make a lot of money. Now I think he's up to something. I'm not too sure, because I saw yesterday's episode, which was the 2nd of January. But I will do that in another sort of video, because that was on an hour-long episode as well. So we've had two for the last 2 days of Eastenders, from the 1st of January to the 2nd of January. We've had basically 2 hours of Eastenders, which is fantastic. Now we've got Kathy, we've got Martin's daughter, we've got Joyce, and we've got Sonia and her friend, all basically in the cafe together. Kathy's cafe, and she's actually got her cafe back now as well, so she can cafe and all that. So what's the names gave her a cafe back because he's changing. Max Brannan, due to his suicidal tendency, that he was going to kill himself because of the way he was at the time. And then his daughters went up there, Abby and Lauren, and they literally fell off, but off the roof of the Queen Victoria. But with that said, though, we have him trying to redeem himself. Now Martin turns up to Max and says about how it all happened, and that Max is lying, that him and Stacy were having an affair behind his back. But he's trying to deny it all, say nothing happened and all that. But Martin's calling him a liar and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he storms off. This is the first appearance with them two coming to collide with each other. But he's trying to brush it off a little bit. Cush's mum saw them literally talking to each other, not talking, but having an argument with each other, the first bit. Then we've got Phil in the Arches, up to no good in this episode, talking to his wife Sharon. and just making sure that he's going to be alright, because she knows that he's up to something, and she said, I hope you're going to be alright, and hopefully you're not going to be in danger and all that kind of stuff, because she doesn't want her husband getting killed or something. She's hoping that he's not going to get killed in between the heist. So obviously she knows that there's a heist is going to be done, like a job, but she wants to know he's safe and all that. And if you remember in last year's episode, he was actually, Phil Mitchell was in hospital having a liver transplant, and that went from 2016 to 17, because he was quite a bit of an alcoholic in the episode. So he was drinking non-stop for a whole year, and it damaged his liver. So in that episode, he's Steve McFadden, his character. Well, Steve McFadden is a flipping awesome actor. He can pull off a drunk alcoholic person in the episode and stuff, and it just goes to show that his acting, his whole career, has just been fantastic. The way he's portrayed a sort of a drunk person, and he's played numerous episodes where he's played a drunk person as well, but he's literally pulled himself off non-stop between these couple years now and all that for doing acting. It's just fantastic actor. I'd love to meet the guy actually at some point. Just be a fantastic person to meet. Oh, Steve McFadden. Then we've got Max turning up at Ian Beale's door when he tried to strangle him the other day with the Christmas tree lights. Max Brannan tried to strangle Ian Beale around the neck because he wanted him dead, because he wanted revenge. And this was, I think it was the Christmas special. I think this was on the 25th of December 2017 at the time, when he wanted revenge. So he ended up, he had a fight, and he said he wants him dead, and he was going to stab him one and stuff. And he said because he got put away to prison, and it wasn't his fault. He didn't kill his daughter. He didn't kill Ian Beale's daughter. Then we found that a couple of years ago back, it was like 2 years ago back, it was Ian Beale's little boy, Bobby, who actually murdered his sister and whacked her over the head and stuff with a more of a sort of a musical box. It was like a square musical box. Actually, make sure my thing doesn't go off. So we're about 12 or 13 minutes in. So yeah, we're trying to get all this in as much as possible. But yeah, so yeah, Max Brannan been bent on revenge in the 1st of January's 2018 episode of the start of the new year. Bent on revenge. He wanted the revenge, but he didn't know this revenge was going to be horrible and stuff. He felt bad for it. He felt like he was going to make him feel better by getting the revenge, by trying to kill Ian and stuff. He hasn't killed Ian, but he was working with Wilmot Brown. Now Wilmot Brown was basically a rapist who raped Kathy, and he's raped other women as well in the past, apparently, in some of the episodes, which he was actually explaining. Well, he wasn't explaining, but he was actually getting interrogated by Kathy and all these other women that he's been with, and Fee as well. I think he did it to Fee's mum or something. That's why she went off and all that kind of stuff. So it's sort of like coming into now. I think he's dead in the episode now, so he got killed. Well, didn't get killed, he just died, had a heart attack, and they had to rush him to the hospital. So I think they've killed off his character. And then Ophi went to the hospital to see her dad, I think, and then she said she was leaving the country or something, or going out of the country. So she's left because she wanted the truth, to find out if he actually did something to Kathy at the time. And basically he was upset about it, and he told her, and he literally stopped her access to working with the actual company, so he took away her authority. But her, I think it was her uncle, her dad's brother, came into it, and I think he's done something to stop Wilmot Brown from working with the company at the time. Actually, it's 12:06 in the morning, well, in the afternoon, guys and girls. I've got to go out in a bit, actually, after this, when I finish this episode. But yeah, so Wilmot Brown, I presume he's dead because he had a heart attack. They took him to the hospital, but he couldn't talk, and he wanted Fee to stay and all that. Now I think he's actually died all alone. But we didn't. I don't think we saw him die. He was just lying on the bed and stuff. And I don't know whether he was sleeping or whether it was another part of his plan for this year. Maybe he's pretending he's dead or something, so they can bring him back again this year for another scenes. Maybe sort of a shocker or something. But we will never know until 2018's later on episodes. But I know the Slaters are coming back. Apparently the whole family is supposed to be coming back. So hopefully that's Little Mo. And if Little Mo comes in, I presume Trevor Morgan will be coming back. Even though he died actually in a fire and stuff when he tried to kill Little Mo a few years gone back in the house. Because he told her she didn't have it in her to kill him, to throw a little, I think it was a match on the floor. And then she said, "Oh, what's the matter? Do you think I'm scared, dear?" She said, "I'm not scared no more." And then she throws the match because he used to abuse her and beat her up and all that in the episode. And her, the momentos of the episode was the Christmas special when she actually refused to eat his gravy. She didn't like his gravy or something, and they were having Christmas dinner, and he abused her so much, like beat her up and all that. He actually got her head in the Christmas dinner, in the gravy, and told her, "Oh, do you like your gravy now?" and all this kind of stuff. So it was kind of sort of really dramatic and stuff in the sense. And then Little Mo got revenge by actually hitting him in the face and killing him. Well, technically killing him because he was still alive at the time. She hit him over the head with the face with the actual iron, and I believe she hit him again on the floor as he was trying to get back up, so it was twice. But then they did some scenes when she went to go and see her sisters, and she told her sisters that she'd killed Trevor, which was her husband at the time, and said he was dead. So they came back to the house and his body was literally disappeared and stuff, totally disappeared. And it was to that point where they went to court and stuff, and he tried to make it out it was her fault and stuff, basically trying to manipulate everyone else into thinking it was her idea, that she was manipulating him and all this kind of stuff. So the only way he could do it to finish her off was actually to take her into the house and basically have a row with her, beat her up again, try and terrify her. But this time she wasn't terrified. She said, "You couldn't do any more to hurt me no more." So she said she wasn't scared of him no more. And she said, "Oh," she said, "if I was," she said, "I wish I was dead," and all this kind of stuff now in the episode, right? So she ended up saying that. And then she said, "Oh," she said, and because he had like a sort of a match, so he matched it, and she said something like, "Oh, what are you going to try to do? You're going to try and kill us now, are you?" She said, and then she calls her like a coward or something in the episode. So she ends up like, she takes the match off him, off Trevor, and then she said, "Oh," she said, "Oh," she said, "You're not going to throw it, are you?" But she said, and then they have a fight or something, or start like fighting. The match goes on the floor, and the whole flames go up. So it's, I don't know whether they should bring Trevor back from the dead, seeing he got killed, but then again you never saw his body, so in a way it's still sort of like open to whether Trevor is still alive. I mean,
he could have gone out, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could have got out the back, or maybe jumped out the window, but I think, was it Sharon's ex-husband died? I think that was Sharon's husband who died in there. I think he was like a firefighter or something.
Oh
or he's working as Summit, but it was at the time. But yeah, just a little history, sort of like. I think I'm doing as much history as possible for some of the episodes. If I'm wrong, just correct me a little bit in the episode, guys and girls. But yeah, definitely put it in the comment section below. So, in January's first episode, we've got Max trying to give the papers back. Which one was this one for? Is that for his fish shop? Oh yeah, he was giving him back the... Where was that one? His wholesales transfer of the whole restaurant Bill's place. So he's giving his property back from Wayland's Co-Limited. Wayland was actually the firm which was to do with it was a company, a corporation and all that, big corporation, and they were trying to take houses, trying to knock houses down, buildings down, and then they were trying to build up from their big empires so they could get like rich people in there and stuff, and then kick out all the poor people. So in a way they were making tons of money, but they were trying to make the rest of the people more like what would you say, homeless? Yeah, and you hear it all the time, don't you? You hear that all the time where like companies try to knock down houses, or they try to kill people in houses and then build up empires and all that after they've got rid of them. Because the thing is, right, if you're after a building and there's a load of people in there, right, now if you're an evil person, right, and they didn't want to leave, what would happen? The whole building would come down, wouldn't they? Or they would get a bulldozer or some shit, and then, or they would try and actually kill them and stuff. Because there's no evidence then, is there? So this is what basically Wilmot Brown was doing. I don't think he was in charge though. Wilmot Brown wasn't. He was basically sort of like, I wouldn't say, would you say the middleman type thing? Would you say a middleman? I'll probably say middleman or something, because I think his brother was in charge of the whole building, and I believe when Wilmot Brown came in, before Wilmot Brown, it was his brother, because he was in that big high-rise tower, and Max was there, and he said he wanted to take the entire Albert Square down. Now we've got Keanu. He looks a bit nervous, shaking and all that. So he was a bit nervous because he's got to do a job. His sister looks a bit worried for him because he's shaking and all that, like a leaf. And she was wondering why he's shaking. And she said that he doesn't have to go through with it. Now they did a scene a couple months going back. Yeah, they did a scene a couple of months gone back when Keanu's sister was pregnant and she miscarried with the baby and all that. But it was with one of the, was it one of the kids at the school or something she got pregnant by? I think it was, wasn't it?
Which one? I forgot.
No, you know that Taylor mum, one of the
oh,
Taylor.
Yeah.
Well, you know the sister. She got pregnant, didn't she, in one of the episodes? But then she miscarried.
Yeah.
And it was that was, I think that was a few months going back that. Then we've got Vincent tying himself up because he had to practice tying himself up with cable ties. But then he tied himself up, and then his girlfriend, what was her name? Denise's sister.
I watches it all the time.
Yeah, and we forget some of the cast name, but well, I mean, there is a lot of cast though. There is a lot of characters in the show, so it can be bit confusing because when I do these sort of like episodes, I'm trying to break down as much as I can, and I'm actually learning as I go along as well. I'm trying to learn all the characters' names and all that. It's like I'm a
Well,
big
actually, they're not proper sisters.
yeah.
are
Well, they're not.
they?
I know she found out that she was adopted or something, wasn't it? Oh, Denise.
Yeah.
So, but they still feel like they're quite close.
Yeah, of course.
They're even more. I don't know why they seem to be even more closer now, because there was one point when Denise was it last year when she was almost left homeless, and she went to the food bank and stuff, and then Okora was up there, and she was saying basically, she said you don't have to be ashamed to go to the food banks and stuff because everyone else is doing it, and hard times like this because basically she was doing setting her sats and all that. Her she was doing something at a college or something, and I think she was after the teacher as well, wasn't she, Denise? She was after a teacher. So we haven't seen much of those scenes though. They didn't really carry on. But Denise's sister is wondering why Vincent is basically got something saying he's tied himself up. So she ends up trying to untie him by cutting the cable ties. But she's wondering if it's something like sexual, like he's tied himself up, like some sort of sexual game he's been playing. Maybe something that they could take into the bedroom with each other and all that. And it kind of, and then she goes, Vincent, she said, oh, you trying something kinky or something? No, she was trying to see if he was doing something kinky. She said, are you doing something crazy? And then he says, oh yeah, something, and then he goes like, oh yeah, I've got something kinky in the bedroom and stuff, because he's trying to turn her on. He said he thought he'd try it on himself first and all that before he tries it on her, and he said he can tie her up. And he's calling him a naughty boy and all that. So yeah, but really, he's tying himself up with cable ties because he's got a job at Heist to do, but he hasn't told her about it. And we've got Denise's sister, we've got Sharon, we've got Billy's wife, oh honey. They all started to get together and stuff, and then we've got oh yeah, and apparently it was a year now. I think it was a year since Ronnie and Roxy died in the swimming pool and stuff, wasn't it? So that was the other day. So Max actually goes and sees Jack, and then Jack says, "Oh, you remembered." So they have a sort of like a heart-to-heart get together, and then he starts, and then it seems, because to be honest, Jack hated Max or what he did to him and tried to screw him out the business, and now he's giving him sort of like tells him to have a drink, and then he goes to Max. Oh, you remembered, and then he said no one else did, no one else remembered due to it, so that no one else is turned up about it, because I think it's because Phil, he's too worried at the moment because he's doing the heist, so he can't remember about Ronnie and Roxy because of his job that he's doing. So he's more actually concentrating on his job than the anniversary of the death of Ronnie and Roxy, of when they died in the swim pool, because Ronnie was going to get married, wasn't she, to I think she did get to married to him, didn't it?
So she did.
Yeah, she got married to him, to Jack, and then they had a bit of a piss up, and she was on, I think she was on cocaine or something. She was taking drugs or something and had a heart attack. Roxy had a heart attack under the water, and then Ronnie went under there to try and save her because she saw her at the bottom of the swimming pool, and their I think their clothes got tangled with each other. So then they ended up getting stuck underwater to do with the wedding dresses and all that, and they drowned underwater together. So at least them two went together, the two sisters, in the episodes, and it was one of the most best dramas of the year. That episode was them. But whether thing is, there's talks that Ben is going to get a visit and there was a picture I did, a little bit of a breakdown video, wondering who it could be. But then again, there's been talks as well that this woman, the shadowy figure of a woman who's at the arches and Ben turning around and stuff, they reckon it could be to do with who was it? Could be. They say it could be Roxy coming back from the dead. Because I think, because there's been talks or something about it, but whether she does come back from the dead, maybe as a ghost, because I know Ben's supposed to be leaving. He's supposed to be leaving the show, so, and I think his contract's expiring or something. So Ben Mitchell is supposed to be leaving the show. And then we've got, in this episode for the 1st of January, we've got Jack and we've got Max having a heart-to-heart, sitting down in the club. I think that's the E20 club.
That's the one.
And where is it? He's giving him the place back or something, and he says he's giving him it back for the full price. And he goes, "Oh, is this a joke or something?" He said, "You try to trick me or something." And he goes, "No." He said, "It's yours." He says, so it's giving it back. So by the looks of it, because Max has said all he wants is his daughter back. He wants Abby back, and he said he'd do everything he can to do it. But unfortunately, by the looks of it, I think Abby is on her way out, because she's supposed to be leaving the show anyway, so they'll probably end up going to kill her off. And then we've got Kathy back in the cafe at the moment, having a sort of talk with the Gans, with the actual the actual wives of the ones who are doing the heist. At least a couple of them. Got Ian's mum there, Kathy. We have Carmel. We have Sharon. We got Whitney. We have Denise. And we got Honey as well, Billy's wife. So they're all having a sort of like a laugh at the moment. And then we have Aidan actually talking to Keanu, because he's only getting £1,000 for the job, and he's wondering why he's only getting 1,000 and everyone's getting more than him. So he's like a bit, and then like he's a bit, not, I wouldn't say jealous, he's just a bit like pissed off because of it, and everyone else is getting like 150 grand. But he says, what I'll do, he says, I'll give you 2 grand. And he said, oh no, actually, Keanu says he wants 2 grand actually. And he starts laughing. But he said someone's been talking to him about it, that he wants more money for the job. But he said, he tells, Aidan tells him that if he does help him and looks after him and stuff and all that, he said he'd give him 10 grand for his troubles and stuff. But he's got to help him and all that. And he said to watch his back. So then we've got Mick back in the Queen Victoria, sort of like putting some sort of dog slippers on. What the hell? He's got some dog slippers. And Max is leaving the E20, I think it is, the club. Jack's place. And Martin's just literally lamped Max on the floor. And he says, I thought revenge wouldn't help. And he said it didn't. And he said it's not revenge. He said what he feels. Carmel comes on and says that the revenge shouldn't have been for the daughters. It shouldn't have been. It's not the daughters' fault. The daughters. And they shouldn't suffer because of it. So yeah, but he should. To be honest, they're trying to say he should have been where Abby was instead. Should have took the replacement. Then we got Max turning up to Jay, offering him the car lot back. but he's refusing to take it because he said he don't want that blood money and all that kind of stuff. So so Max is just walking away with it. And he's trying to make amends. I can see he's trying to make amends, and I think all he's worried about is his children. But is it genuine? Is it actually genuine? We're seeing, or is it not? We will have to see as we go along. But then again, he could be having an agenda to do with it, to try and get more revenge. This could be another way to get more revenge. Just make everyone think he's changed his mind and changed his ways. Now he's Mick is going in to the basement, or into the Queen Victoria's basement. So he's trying to look for something at the moment for the heist. And his mum's just saw him go in there. So I think this is the one where she locks him up into the place. Now they're getting the van ready. This bloke who's, I don't know if he's Bulgarian or something, in the car. He's telling the bloke, because they're about to do the heist. They're about to rob a van, and that's the whole part of the sort of heist. Now the tailor's son, not Keanu, but the other son, he's Aidan is calling him to set the fireworks to blow up the whole place. Now Shirley Carter, Mick's mum, is tying him up. Well, not tying him up, is actually locking the door so he can't get out of the Queen Victoria. So she's locked him in the sort of basement area, in the cellar, I should say, in the cellar. And then we have Vincent getting ready to do the job as well, getting ready to set up for the job, and leaving his beautiful wife half naked on the bed. So he's just he was having sex with her halfway through, and then he was basically just left her in the lump. Actually, Denise's sister, she actually was pregnant a couple of weeks going back. Now she's trying to make everyone think she was pregnant still, but she lost the baby, I think, a couple of weeks going back. She had a miscarriage, she was bleeding and all that kind of stuff. So but she's still making it out, so she wants Vincent to give her another one, which would make her happy, she said, and all that. And they're not even grieving about their first baby, so it's kind of like, I don't know what you guys and girls think of the episodes. Then we got Shirley saying she's not going to let her son out because she's trying to protect him. And he's saying to her that basically it'd be a dead man if he don't get out. And that Aidan wants him to do this job and all that kind of stuff. So his life is at risk and all of that. And then we've got Max back in the hospital seeing to Abby and all that. And Aidan going round to the Arches, or Phil's Autos. Oh, hang on. Aidan is getting a gun out at the moment, so he's putting on a silencer. So this must be his little revenge plot. So obviously he's a bit dodgy, so he's getting ready. I think he's getting ready to kill maybe the whole people, the whole gang, the ones he's setting up. So that'd be for Vincent, to get revenge on Vincent. And where's that? Have a look. So what I'm doing is I'm looking right through all the stuff that's been going on from Eastenders 1st of January. So I'm just looking back on some of the scenes at the moment. This is why I'm looking them up. So they're all, Kathy and the rest of the women are in the cafe. They're all having a laugh and a joke about their husbands and boyfriends and all that. Actually, let me put this one back on a second. There we go. There we go. So I'm just putting that back on a sec because of the video. So almost finished now actually on this episode. So the whole sort of because it's on for an hour. This is a whole hour's worth. we have the heist where it's all taken place. Now Shirley's getting a bit worried whether she's made the right choice or whether she hasn't made the right choice. So it's sort of like now we've got Taylor's son's just leaving the Queen Victoria. He's gone round the back and he's been talked to by Mick. He's trying to tell him to get him out, and he said, "Yeah, make it worth his while if you can get him out." And they're having a laugh about his mum, why she's locked him in there, saying that his mum cares for him too much, and he's like a little mummy's boy and all that kind of stuff, and that's why she's protecting him. So he's going to put some fireworks right by the back door. Now we've got Keanu Taylor, the son of Karen Taylor, who's driving a little white van, and he's basically skidding all over the place because he's got to get to the start of the heist before it all kicks off. And we've got the bloke in the van who is working with Aidan. He's telling the other bloke, I don't know if he's Bulgarian or if he's sort of like because he sounds Bulgarian actually, so it could be something to do with the mafia or something. But he's trying to get told to go to certain directions, and now we've got Aidan having a go at what's his name, Vincent, telling him how he should be doing the job and all that kind of stuff, and that why the other people are not where Mick Carter is and the rest of them are, because they need to get them all in there. And that Keanu should be there as well, and he shouldn't be driving the car, because what they've done, they've put the car in a different direction because the people are not in their right places. So he wants them in a certain place at a certain point and at a certain time before the actual heist kicks off. So basically they're going to rob the van, whatever's inside it. So Mick Carter's out now. He's just got the door blown off. His mum was wondering what the hell the explosion was or something. He's trying to say it's fireworks and all that because of New Year's Day and all that, people having fireworks. And apparently he's woken up the baby and stuff. So, they've woken up the baby. She's wondering what the hell's going on. Now they're getting out. Basically the door's locked. It's got a padlock on it, which has got a code on it. So they're trying to figure out the number on the actual code. So they find out, I think, his birth year, which is his birth year, Mick Carter, when he was born. So now he's running with his little sort of shoes that he's got on. He's got little slippers on with, I think, with dogs on it. So it's kind of little funny on there. So they've got some sort of comedy surround it. Now we've got the white van coming down onto a motorway area. Now they've got to try and stop that van to make sure it goes into the right direction, so it goes down the right road. Now Mick Carter is dressing himself up as a sort of like a road worker, and that's a part. But he's got, it's funny, he's got shoes on, those slippers on, so they're kind of like putting it into the direction of what he's doing at the moment. And Keanu is working together with him, and they've closed off the road because they want that van to go straight down a different direction. So they're going to say to the blokes, one bloke who's in there, because you got the one guy who's being set up by the other guy. So the guy who's driving the car, he's the bad guy. They're the ones that are after him. But the guy who's actually in the passenger seat, not the driving seat. Oh, and there we go. We've got Mr. Masood back as well. And I think it's his auntie and uncle who have just come back to the place. So, yeah, they've turned up. They're in a van as well. So, and they're wondering, because basically Mr. Masood is actually friends with Mick Carter. They're best friends. They're like family, he says. So, and he's telling him to jog on, because they're doing a job heist, so they had to turn up at the wrong time. Now we've got this one going down the road. This bloke in the passenger seat in the van is telling the bloke which way he should be going down. He said he knows the direction and he's taking a shortcut, and the other bloke said, "Oh, you're going the wrong way, and it's the long way," and all that. And then the bloke in the passenger seat, he says, "I know." He said which way I'm going and stuff. So it's more as a setup, really. Oh, Aidan is working with the guy in the passenger seat, and Phil Mitchell and Vincent are all in together to get this bloke in the van. So they've put an insider in the van. So they're on the phone and talking and all that kind of stuff. And he's trying to find out, Aidan's trying to find out where everybody is. He said he's just going into town now. So it's all like, they've got all the masks ready to put on, but apparently they're too small. But it's really funny. The masks are actually, where is it? They've got one, I think, of Theresa May. You've got one of Jeremy Corbyn. You've got one of Donald Trump, and then you've got a mask. I think, what was it, with Barack Obama in it? I think it was, and it was like the main sort of like characters they've put in, because they're doing a robbery with those masks on. But unfortunately, they're too big. So it's like they were trying to make a mockery of it. Maybe they're making a mockery of Brexit and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Mick Carter and what's his name, Keanu, they're jumping over the wall and stuff because they've got to try and climb over the wall. His mum, Shirley Carter, is literally got a tracking device. She's tracking him at the moment with Linda in the car to try and find out his whereabouts. They're trying to stop him from making a mistake. Got Mr. Masood come back to the house and stuff because he's kicked out Carmel, so she's had to leave her place, her house, because she was living in there. But he's coming back now, Mr. Masood, by himself, but with his auntie and uncle. So there's going to be some sort of stuff going on there. Now, everyone who's doing the heist, you've got, oh my god, you've got Phil Mitchell, he's got a Jeremy Corbyn mask he's wearing, and then you've got Keanu wearing Theresa May's like sort of mask on. So they're doing it like sort of a stint on those characters. Oh my god, it's a hilarious episode. But yeah, they're and Eastenders is actually done in London as well, so it's like a sort of an East End sort of show. Now we've got Billy now with his little hearse, putting it in the way of the road to stop the van from getting round. So they're bringing the van round to the arches because it's a setup to try and hide that van. So they're going to rob the whole van. I don't know why they're robbing the van for, what their intentions are. Maybe there's something in there that Aidan's after. But yeah, they've got balaclavas on now, so they're doing this heist with the balaclavas on and telling everybody to get out and put their hands on. They're tying them up with the cable ties. Now he's opening up. This is the last bit of the hour for the 1st of January 2018. First episode of EastEnders of January the 1st of the year. Now we've got Phil with the fake guns. But the thing is, if you look at the actual guns, which are not actually guns in the cardboard, they don't even look like guns, to be honest, anyway. So if I would look at that, they don't even look that actually real. Oh, hang on, there's someone coming out. And now we've got, by the looks of it, I think it was Mick Carter who got shot yesterday in this first episode of the year, of the hour-long episode. So, yeah, they were in balaclavas. Then one of the characters got shot when they were doing the heist, and they had the mask on, so you couldn't see. But in yesterday's episode, for the 2nd of January, which was another hour-long episode, I will be doing a review of that episode as well. Anyway, guys and girls, Hope you enjoyed this episode for today. If you did, do like, favourite, share, comment, subscribe. Cheers all for watching. It's the 3rd of January today because I'm kind of a little bit behind on the episodes. I mean, I've watched them, but I'm trying to review them within the last few days and all that. But anyway, cheers all for watching. Catch you all later. Stay safe, and you're going to see my outro video, and it's the same as the intro video which I've done. But hopefully you guys and girls enjoy the episode, and cheers all for watching. Stay safe, have a good day, and Happy New Year to everyone. If I haven't told you already, which I've probably told you about 1,000 times almost today.
And we love all of you.
Yeah, and we love everyone. You all stay safe, have a good day, and see you soon.